Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, worlds of TV, film, pop culture, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. And Lucifer Season 5B is going to be dropping on Netflix Friday, May 28th. And we are speaking to someone you will, of course, recognize in Lucifer. Lesley-Ann Brandt is with us. Lesley-Ann, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We were talking about before we started. I mean, you know, Season 5A took a long time for people to finally see it. The Lucifer fans are so passionate, and we didn't have to wait as much longer for 5B, and I think everyone's ready to go for it.
Yeah, I think what we really realized over, this last year and lockdown was the value of entertainment and how many new eyeballs we had on our show, because people actually had time to Netflix and chill, next level Netflix and chill, because you're literally not leaving your house. So that I think I was really happy that we got to come back, that we're coming back now at a time where it seems like there's some hope. Vaccines are rolling out, people seem to be in better spirits, and we get to bring some entertainment and joy at that time.
Absolutely. And I'm curious because, for people that have watched the show, I mean, Maze is such an amazing, complex character. There's a lot going on, and I bet it's so much fun to play. What's your mindset season after season when, you're preparing to go in and, shoot Lucifer, Lesley-Ann? For example, because, you see a script, there's a lot of things happening, the character arcs and everything. For you as an actor and a storyteller, what's the mindset, going into film?
So I have, typically a super objective for the character over the course of the series, but then season to season, episode to episode, scene to scene, it's what does she want? Yeah. So it's typically what does she want this season? And she wants a soul, she wants to feel what everyone else is feeling, because I think, she's obviously acknowledging there are deep wounds in regards to her mother, her childhood, that, she needs to or needed to work through and acknowledge. There's, the sense of betrayal that her friend Lucifer didn't fill her in on all of that, so she's dealing with that. There's the pining for Eve, who rejected her at the end of season 4. And I use that word kind of lightly, rejection, because it feels like rejection to her, but really it's also Eve kind of taking her time and going on her journey, which is hard to sometimes respect when you're the person being rejected, in your mind.
Absolutely.
So I typically just ask myself, what does she want? What will she do if she doesn't get it? And what are her individual relationships to each character in the show, given where they left off? And I try and I start backwards and then work my way forward, and then also have a very close communicative relationship with our showrunners and our writers to figure out where they see her taking, her journey. In kind of broad strokes, I tend to not really want the real specifics, so that I'm not getting married to ideas or situations that may change.
Absolutely. Yeah. Strategic. It's strategy. Maze this is serious business. This is about Maze.
Yeah.
One thing that I love about the show is the relationships and the dialogues and the scenes that you and Tom have, Lucifer and Maze. It's just incredible to see. I think if you talk to a lot of Lucifer fans, that's one, there's a lot of things we love about the show, but I think that's something that stands out, to be honest with you. What's it like working with Tom, and what's it like just having that growth between the two of you each season?
I think Tom has a tough job because he wears many hats on our show, and he has to keep track of so many different relationships, you know. But I do think this being his oldest one,
Yeah.
um, it feels like an old comfortable glove, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. You know, Tom and I have both been on the show since the pilot, and so we've been working together for, you know, 6 years, and neither one of us is ever like, it's like a great rally of tennis. It's like, you know, he hits a forehand, I return with a backhand. Like,
Ooh,
you
I
know,
like
it's
that.
we're just trying very many different things in our scenes, which makes the scenes come alive, and it feels truthful and in the moment. And that has never changed
Absolutely.
from the beginning of the show. And that's a challenge because, you know, I've certainly worked on shows in later seasons where people are jaded, they don't care as much. But that's the thing about this cast, is everyone cares, and especially Tom, that we are putting our best work out there, our best foot forward, that our storylines are truthful, that they make sense, and we all go into battle for the show and for these characters, because like Tom is the gatekeeper of Lucifer and Michael.
Yes.
I am the gatekeeper of Lilith and Mazikeen, as in I bring them to life with the help of writers and our crew, but I'm only dedicated to her storyline. And so she's like a second skin to me at this point, and I think it feels the same way for Tom. So it's really like it's a joy working opposite someone that cares as much as you do, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows his lines and shows up having put some real thought into the scene and how our relationships are portrayed. Are we being truthful? Are we tracking? All of that sort of stuff. We come in with ideas and then we just play, and that's really, you know, I always say the acting's free. I get paid to wait.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've been playing Mazikeen Maze for, like you mentioned, like you were there since the pilot. I mean, it's been quite a bit. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been 6 years. Yeah, 6 years.
Crazy. Does that ever sink in that it's been 6 years? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially this last year, you know, it's been this last season. I'm so grateful because I almost wasn't cast as this character, you know.
Wow.
There was another actress that Fox had originally casted, and then it didn't work out, and it's I've learned so much from her, season to season.
Yep.
Both personally, but also professionally.
100%.
And I don't know. She's so complicated and so childlike, and yes, so gritty and tough and all of those things, and so vulnerable as well. And I think that's kind of what makes her beautiful, you know, is that vulnerability.
Oh, for sure. So, season 5 has been sent out to the universe, Lucifer fans, in 2 parts, part A and part B. Part A last year, part B is dropping Friday the 28th. Everyone's excited. So I figured that, you know, since there's part A and part B, I'm going to ask you a question now that has a part A and a part B.
Okay.
You are a storyteller. You are an actor. That is what you do. So I want to know, part A, what is your favorite thing about being a storyteller in Lucifer? And then part B is, what is your favorite thing about acting and storytelling in general? So A is most specifically Lucifer, and B is in general, Lesley-Ann.
I think the thing I love about storytelling in our show is that we are a show about the devil who came to Los Angeles to quit hell and open a bar and, you know, have a good time. But we are so much more than that. We are set in this fantastical world, yes, of, you know, angels and demons and you know, huge themes, you know, betrayal, abandonment, love, jealousy, the big question, you know, does God exist? All of this, you know, sort of all of this stuff. And then for me personally, is I get to show in my way what love looks like for an LGBTQ plus character. And I think with that comes such responsibility and weight, given that, you know, protections for LGBTQ people around the world are still under attack by laws and governments and society. So I think we get to, without force feeding these ideas down people's mouths, we do it in a way that's very approachable. It makes people, I think, pause and think about, well, you know, am I really, did the devil really make me do it? Or did I have a choice and I made a shitty one? You know? And then I think the bigger thing about, you know, for me, the B part of your question in storytelling is again, exactly that. It's, I get to tell stories that matter and that affect change. And hopefully positive change, or that get to highlight. You look at a show like Watchmen, you know, so many people were educated about Black Wall Street and the Tulsa riots from that first 5 minutes of a TV show that is about superheroes, you know, and so I think we have this really wonderful opportunity as artists, and it's been that way, I think, since, you know, the dawn of time, is that through art you get to express you know, real human struggle, emotion, love, all of it, and at the same time we get to educate people.
Absolutely. And before we wrap up, I mean, you know, it's coming. It's so close. Season 5B, Lucifer. Without any spoilers, what can Lucifer fans expect from Lucifer Season 5B, Lesley-Ann?
Holy shit. First of all,
just say that.
Can you really call yourself a fan if you're not staying up tonight and binging? Like, come on.
Yeah. But can we just leave it at that? Holy bleep? Like, that's it.
Yes. Listen, there's just so much I can't say, but you get to see Maze's demon face in a very, very big way.
Do people forget sometimes that Lucifer is like based off DC Comics? I feel like people forget that sometimes.
I think for non-comic book purists, they maybe don't know that we're loosely. I say loosely.
It's loosely, yeah. It's based
because the world of those comics are just so huge. Like, I'm so looking forward to the Sandman series.
Yes.
You know, and what Neil is bringing to that, because that was my introduction to Maze and the world and everything when I was researching. And then we took our own kind of take, you know, on our show. But yeah, I think a lot of people forget that we are based on a comic book, not the book. And I think that's the cool thing about our show. It's like, even if you're not into comic books, you find a way to relate to these characters of the show in some way.
Oh, absolutely. Lesley-Ann, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So nice chatting to you.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. And people could follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter, Lesley-Ann Brandt. I think I have a Facebook page. I do not run it though. So one of those three.
Amazing.
All of those three.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. You're going to be able to catch Lesley-Ann in Lucifer Season 5B coming to Netflix May 28th. It's going to be great. Until next time, this is Lesley-Ann and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.